Is Eni Aluko the worst female pundit in football? There's a lot going around recently about Eni Aluko. She's been on a podcast, she's been on Talk Sport about how she wasn't picked for the Women's Euro final and that she feels that she should have been. But there's a lot of people that hate on Eni Aluko. And in my opinion, she's not the best female pundit. But that's not me saying that female pundits shouldn't be in the men's game, because there are some really good ones like Laura Woods, Alex Scott. It's all about equality. And some of the things that Eni Aluko has said when being a pundit on the men's game is this is why she is not considered for punditry anymore. She said things like 19 goals in 40 appearances is a 1 goal a game. And you're thinking, well, that math doesn't math. And when she was on the podcast that she went on, she was saying that she was sat next to another female who played for England women, and the lady she was sat next to had 170 appearances, and Eni Aluko said that, she had 109, and that equates to 290 appearances. Now, again, it's things like that you're thinking, this is why you're not in the game. This is why you're not getting picked for the punditry. She's also picking fights with Ian Wright, who is a big advocate for the women's game. She's also looking to cause trouble with Ian Wright. Ian Wright is a big again advocate for the women's game. He promotes it. He's a pundit on the women's game. So I don't know why you'd go and pick a fight for someone like that. I think it's just looking for trouble. I think it's looking for the attention to get the attention. Again, she said things like about the Declan Rice transfer to Arsenal, saying that Man City manufactured it to get Arsenal to up their bid. It's just stuff like that, and it's one of those where you're thinking, are you doing this to get attention? Are you doing this to be controversial? But the female pundits that are very good don't make this controversy because they are very good at their job, so they don't need to stir up the controversy. They stay in their lane. They know the game well. We've got some great commentators who commentate on the men's game and the female game, and they know the game. But Eni Aluko seems to think that she's entitled to be there being a pundit because she's played the game, and I think she played for Arsenal ladies, and it's because she's won so much in the women's game and with England. I think she thinks, oh well, I'm deserved of my place, and people like the BBC, ITV, and the other broadcasters are not picking her. So I think she's a little bit hurt by that, and which, as probably a football fan which she is, she's probably hurt by that, and it's right that she's hurt by it because she probably wants to be on the games commentating or being a pundit. But if you don't know your stuff and you're saying things like I've said earlier in the video and you're getting it wrong, you're going to make yourself look stupid. And she had a great back and forth with Simon Jordan on Talksport, and she was saying things like, oh, if I'm next to the biggest broadcasters, then I am the biggest broadcaster. Like I think she said that if she's on the BBC, then she, which is a big broadcaster, she is a big broadcaster. Well, I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how Laura Woods looks at it. You know, I don't think Laura Woods looks at it like if she goes on TNT, then she is TNT. Again, this is going to be a very controversial video, but I've seen it all over social media, and Eni Aluko is one of those figures where she's very much like a Joe Barton kind of figure, where speaks out for controversy, wants the attention, and Joe Barton hates the women's game, but then has very much an opinion on the men's game and who should do this and who should do that. Now, these two figures, not so much are dangerous for football, but they're sparking up hate for their own selves. And Joe Barton was a big figure in football, and Eni Aluko was a big figure in the women's game. But you can't go around thinking you're entitled to something when you're not. And Eni Aluko is in her own world, thinking that she should be on every women's game, I think. And again, she comes up with some stuff, and she's made herself look so stupid. But the women that do punditry are clever. They know the game. They know what they're talking about. And I'm not saying that Eni Aluko doesn't. It's just some of the things she says is not as intelligent as the other women in sport. But it's just a lot going around about Eni Aluko at the minute, and this is why she's not being picked. But she's getting a lot of hate, and it's not deserved hate, but it's a lot of unnecessary attention. Again, I'm doing a video on it, so again, it's going to probably generate a bit more. But women should be in the men's game, and men should be in the women's game, whether that be a pundit or on commentary, because it's about equality. And if you know the game, then commentate or be a pundit on the game, because football is for everyone. But you can't be in the game if you're going to make stupid comments and say things that are going to make you look stupid. Now, if you're not being picked for a pundit, there's a reason. So, but that was just my thought on it, and it's probably a controversial one, but let me know in the comments below how you feel about Eni Aluko, and if you think she should be picked for a pundit or on commentary in the men's game or the women's game. But yeah, like, subscribe. See you soon.